The path of the one. What is the one, and who is the one? So first, the one is an idea. It's a pathway to a higher state of mind. Who is the one? You are the one. The one who can choose to take that path or can choose to be human. It's very much up to you. From what I can see is at a certain point in time in our history, there were temples and there were cults set up to facilitate the understanding of how to get to a higher state of mind and reconnect with the oneness that was shared during Atlantean times. And now a lot of that science has either been lost or a lot of that science has been covered up and has been put into the basement of some very, very large and powerful entities. And with that said, what I have done through the course of my journey is to rediscover one of those paths, or the path of the one, at least in this reality. You know, as we come out of Christendom and we come into a world where magic is becoming a little bit more prevalent, and seeing magic and technology, eventually they are going to merge into one being. As they were in the beginning, magic and technology have always been one until it was split. Just like science and religion was one at one point, and then it was split. Now, these are ideas, or these are things that our ancestors came up with, things that our ancestors did because they could think in a whole way. Not only did they combine the religious, mythological, symbolic aspects of, the right brain, they also combined the logic and the mathematics, the study, of the left brain, dealing with that, the logical, and was able to create a complete system that allowed beings to go from, everyday humans to gods. And they did this so well, they created temples and created many saviors, or Christ, so to speak. So when we talk about the Savior, or we talk about the Christ or the Savior is only one who has been to a higher state of mind and can now reflect that understanding in creation. Because that's what it's all about. Being able to go to the fifth dimension, being able to interpret divine understandings, and being able to reflect that understanding in third dimension. That is what this shit is all about. The Savior, the Messiah. Because at a certain point in our consciousness on this planet, in our conscious development on this planet, our ancestors, who just so happen to be alien beings, came to this planet and during a period of consciousness raised the level of the beings already on this planet and mixed in with them and created bloodlines of people who could do the same thing, people who could get to those higher levels. And that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with the bloodlines of the gods, of the old gods, our ancestors, alien beings. And, it was definitely a revelation to find the information because it's hidden in the Pistis Sophia. The Pistis Sophia being part of the Nag Hammadi library, dealing with how Jesus was able to raise the Pistis Sophia out of the 13th Aeon and unite both of their lights for understanding, to allow them to go to a higher level. And this story directly reflects a story that was told of David, story that was told of Solomon. David, as we know from Kirameo Awa, his research, we know that David is a people. It's talking about a people. And so when we decode the Pista Sophia, we come to find out that this whole book is talking about what happened in Atlantis, where our alien ancestors came to save us from some other aliens that were controlling us. And now we have this story of the Christ that has been historicalized as an actual figure, as an actual person. But when you deal with the symbols and you deal with the stories, you realize that these are actually ancient stories from Atlantis that have just been rebranded as Christian, that has been rebranded as something that came out of Europe, when in actual effect, the people that came out of Europe, the Moors, the people who spread out to France, the people who spread out to Ireland and things of that nature, and then eventually came to the Americas, were originally from the Americas. In a brother named Kirimeo Awa's work, he even states and shows how most of the conquistadors that came over here were Sephardic Moorish Jews, which just meant that they were of a darker hue, which just meant that they were connected to the old world. They spoke Hebrew, just like the people here in America.